Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Our today's topic for discussion is Leh Para Second. It is lesson number 4 of 12th class English textbook, that is Chinor second. Let me first read the text and then its explanation. The solidest joy of Leh is seeing its palace from every angle and in every light. From below, as it stands in the full dazzle of the morning sun, from the side in the afternoon, from the roof of my hotel, as one of its sheer sides ignites slowly in the dusk, from behind on the road to left from Sankar, as it rears ghostly in the moonlight, hardly distinguishable from the massy dark rock it is built on. Dear students, here writer says that the most concrete joy of Leh lies in seeing its palace from every angle and in every light. It should be seen from below as it stands on the top of a big rock in the bright light of the morning sun. It should also be looked from the side in the afternoon from the roof of the writer's hotel. One of its vertical sides seems to be burning in the evening. That says, if you look from behind on the road to Leh from Sakar, it seems to rising like a ghost on the hill rock on which it stands. That says, at that time it is hardly distinguishable from the heavy rock on which it stands. Right? You are haggling for vegetables in the market at sundown, and suddenly you look up and see the last sun catch the top of one of its balconies. Right here says that if one haggles over the prices of vegetables, if one haggles over the prices of vegetables, that is, if one argues for a better deal, especially over prices with a seller in the market in the evening, and you suddenly happen to look up, that says, and you suddenly happen to look up, you will find that the last sun captures up the top of one of balconies, that is one of the verandas of the palace, right? That he says that if one haggles over the prices of vegetables, that is, if one argues for a better deal, especially over the prices with a seller in the market in the evening, and you suddenly happen to look up, and you would find that the last sun captures up the top of one of the verandas of the palace. You are talking to a friend in the evening, walking up the main street, and as you talk, you see that the moon has risen up the palace and seems to be wearing it like a vast earring. Writer here says that if you happen to talk to a friend, while walking up the main street, the moon can be seen rising up the palace. The moon can be seen rising up the palace. The moon seems to be wearing the palace like a vast earring. Earring means a piece of jewelry worn on the ear. Understand? The rat says that if you happen to talk to a friend while walking up the main street, the moon can be seen rising up the palace. The moon can be seen rising up the palace. The moon seems to be wearing the palace like a vast earring, that is, a piece of jewelry worn on the ear. To be wearing the palace like a vast earring. Now next, you you turn a corner of Leh's innumerable labyrinthine streets, and for a moment a whole flank of the palace stands in front of you, bare and stark as the mountains that surround it. This was text. Now let me explain it. The writer says that if you turn a corner of one of many and narrow streets of Leh, if you turn a corner of one of many and narrow streets of Leh, a whole side of the Queen's palace stands before you. Right? A whole side of the Queen's palace stands before you. The side of the palace looks as bare. Here bare means naked. The side of the palace looks as naked and strong as do the mountains that surround it. Let me explain it again. The writer says that if you turn a corner of one of many and narrow streets of Leh, a whole side of the Queen's palace stands before you. The side of the palace looks as bare. The side of the palace looks as naked and strong as do the mountains that surround it. The Queen and her family now live in the smaller palace at Stoke. The Queen and her family now live in the smaller palace at Stoke, 10 miles away. That here says that the Queen and her family have shifted to a smaller palace, right? That here says that the Queen and her family have shifted to a smaller palace, which is situated at Stoke and which is 10 miles away from the Leh. The Queen, right here says that the Queen and her family have now shifted to a smaller palace, which is situated at Stoke and which is 10 miles away from the Leh. Now next, the palace of Leh is empty and crumbling. The palace of Leh is empty and crumbling. The palace of Leh is empty and crumbling. You walk through its large vacant rooms. Fat and mice came out of the dark corners to be fed. The writer says that the palace, which is situated at Leh, the palace which is situated at Leh is empty and it is falling. The palace which is situated at Leh, it is empty and it is falling. If you walk through its large vacant rooms, if you walk through its large empty rooms, you will observe that fat domestic mice come out of its dark rooms. That says that if you walk through its large vacant rooms, that is, through the large vacant rooms of the palace, you will see and you will find that fat domestic mice come out of its dark corners. They feel that somebody has come to give them food. Thank you very much.